So as half of you are here, so I think I can slowly start off. Let's others come time to time. So I hope you have gone through what we discussed in the last class. From the anybody has got that book, discrete mathematics book. Those who know digital, it's okay. You have to just correlate it with that. I think at least MCA, IT, then your electrical, electronics, and most of you have gone through the digital books. So maybe statistics. Statistics, any of you there? Statistics?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you don't have a particular digital course, but binary number systems, I think you have gone through, isn't it? AND gate, OR gate kind of thing. Boolean in your
Yes,
UG
sir.
or, UG or PG? Stats?
Yes, sir. We already did this.
Okay, so normally our students who have electrical and electronics guys, I think you do normally a two set of digital courses in your UG. MCA students have done one course, and MTech IT, those who are from MCA backgrounds might have done one course. The design course they might not have done. Electronics guys, I think you have done the design course also, isn't it? Fletcher, digital design by Fletcher, ASM and FSM. Even Tripoli, those who are from Tripoli background doing in electrical, I think they have done a digital design course and one set of combinational and sequential set of circuits.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? So which book you have followed? The Indian author Anand Kumar or Mano? Those who are from CS background, they have a different kind of green color covered Mano, and those who are from electronics background, they normally follow a black colored Mano. Morris Mano, Fletcher, Fletcher for the second course, and normally Tossi or Leach or Anand Kumar is more popular. So anyway, I'll not be going to the design part. I'll be in the combinational part only. Only thing is that De Morgan's law, how many of you know? Electronics and electrical, no, I know. MCA guys also, I think you know, isn't it? Those are from MCA background?
Yes, sir.
You know De Morgan's law. So today I'll be discussing a bit of De Morgan's, but just to not get you say correlate it in a different way, instead of normal A, B, I have put P and Q. So that is as per the discrete mathematics book. So don't get confused. It's the same De Morgan's law that I'll be discussing in terms of that. Most of you know, those who have done a digital course or a Boolean course. I'm not going into the digital design part, which the EC guys might have done for FSM and ASM designs and digital design correlating with the computer architecture or advanced computer architecture. I'm mainly discussing the basic digital for combinational logic or Boolean. So going by that, I hope half of you are here. So I'm sharing my slide. Maybe the others will join in time to time. Can you see my slide?
Yes, sir.
A minute. Biconditional, I think I have discussed what I have done. I was in, yeah. I had discussed up to this, I guess. Compound truth tables in the last class. Compound truth tables.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So going ahead, next is your tautology and contradiction. So what do you mean by tautology is actually if something is true, it is called tautology. And if something is always false, it is called a contradiction. and if there is a contingency when there it is neither tautology nor contradiction. But normally a compound proposition is more satisfying in case you are having at least one of the things true, because everybody wants to be correct in this way or the other way. So what happens here is that when it is always true, it is called tautology. Like say for example, this is A and A bar. So when you have A union A bar, it is always 1, and A intersection A bar, it is always 0. So when it is always true, it is called a tautology, and when it is always false, it is called a contradiction. And there is again contingency is there because sometimes we have a combination of tautology and contradiction. So it is the means always 1 means tautology and always 0 means contradiction. I hope you have got this particular idea. Okay. So going ahead, there is some logical equivalence. Like say for example, if you have two set of compound system, as I told, I'm using P and Q instead of A and B. So it's the same thing. So if P and Q are logically equivalent, only if means for P and Q in both cases you have a tautology, means whether you use P or whether you use Q, always it is correct. So then it is a tautology. And the notation here is a triple equal to, means this P and instead of equal to we are putting a triple equal to. Do you know what term this is? This triple equal to is when you have triple signs instead of double signs. What is that called? It's called equivalence. Okay, so that's why I was telling logical equivalence. So when you have three signs like that, instead of equal to, if you have three lines, it is called equivalence. Okay, so De Morgan's laws are in this way. Normally you have studied it as A intersection B bar equal to A bar union B bar, or A union B bar equal to A bar intersection B bar, isn't it? You have studied it in that way. Anybody who has not been aware of the De Morgan's law? Anyone? So I get all of you have at least known this part of the Boolean. So going by this equivalence, so let's build the truth table. So you can tell me this. This is the first De Morgan's law. A intersection B whole bar equal to A bar union B bar. Anyone tell me what are these? The first one, first column.
First column will be 0, sir.
Then
1.
this is 0. Intersection, isn't it?
I thought, yes, sir. But I
Intersection.
thought you are going in a row, but you are going in a column.
Okay. That's okay. Next one.
0 only, sir.
Okay.
This
Next.
1.
Okay. The other one will be reverse of that, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Opposite.
Okay. Then the last one.
1. 1. 1. 0.
Okay. The same thing. Okay. These two are equal. So this is the proving of the De Morgan's, and the second one also similarly. What will be for this first column? This is union. P union Q. Next.
It will be 0, then 1. Then 1.
Yeah,
again
all will
1.
be 1, and then it will be reverse of that, isn't it? And here also it will be equal to the previous one, isn't it? You just correlate it. Okay. Here up to this, the De Morgan, those who are not covered it also, I have covered it for them. Just that notation looks a bit different because I am keeping track in case you are referring to the book, it should match with the book. So they have it as P and Q, but the thing is the same thing. So you can have other equivalences also, like this one. That is the distributive law. If you have like A union B intersection C equal to A union B intersection A union C, isn't it? The same thing. Whatever you have done in digital, it is the same thing, just written in a different form. Okay. So here what will be that? The first column? P bar union Q. So P bar union Q, as it is P bar, so it is 0 and 1, so 1, then 1 and 1,
Sir, 1,
yeah, then next 0 and 0,
0,
the last one,
mm,
1 and 0. It's a union.
1.
Yeah. So the next one, next column, there will be the same thing, isn't it? P bar union this. So whether you write this way or this way, it's the same thing. So these two are equal. Now let's go for a bit more complex one. Now here, if you see this, so here, as there are three variables, we have 8 options: 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, the set of binary numbers. So, but here, as we are doing for 2 of them, when we are doing for 2 of them, it will be similar to that only. So, for the first column, what will be?
0,
So, these two will be same.
0,
Then
0, 1, last
Okay.
one. Yes.
okay. So, the next one, P union Q.
0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Yeah. And then the third one. Now it is P
0.
with R.
Yes, sir. 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Okay. So now we have a 3 set of things coming together. So what will be for this?
Sir, 0,
Then
again 0,
okay.
0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Others will be all 1. Only the first two will be 0 because there when you do the intersection, then at that part you have Q intersection R, and Q intersection R is what is this 0 for that, and in during that part P is also 0, isn't it? So Q intersection R in the first column means here these are all zeros. In this first column, these 3 are 0 and these 3 are 0. So there you have these 3 zeros. But after that, any one of them is 1. So it is coming similarly. Now coming to the last one. You have the union of P union Q and P union R. So you have to find the intersection between them.
Sir, first 3 will be 0, remaining will be 1.
Okay. Clear? So these two are equal. So you have many more equivalences. Whenever you have this kind of thing, one case it is P intersection true is P, P intersection false is P. So this is an identity. The next is the commutative law, and the third one is absorptions. Absorption means the other terms are being absorbed by the P, isn't it? Okay, so these are the different equivalences. And these equivalences with conditionals and biconditionals also have different precedences. So when you are having this P conditional Q or P conditional Q in a, say, with respect to Q bar and P bar and P bar and Q, so there you have different conditionals and you have your biconditionals. So there, just like we have, do you know about, I hope you, all of you during your school days have done BODMAS, isn't it? What was that?
Good man.
Bournemouth.
What was that?
Bodmer said
So
that was the
bracket
rules
of
according to
So-
precedence, which we
Yes,
should
yes.
follow first.
Yes, that's it. So here also the same thing. Okay. So when you see that, so highest is given to this when it is bar, then intersection is higher than union, then intersection and union is higher than the conditional and biconditional, and you have equal precedence whether it is left or right. Okay. Clear? So this is the precedence structure in discrete mathematics. Okay. Clear? So just as you have in BODMAS, you do it for your mathematics. So when you do for discrete mathematics, this is the thing. Vishal, has sir taken up that in your discrete mathematics course, the precedence, conditional and biconditional kind of thing? Vishal
yes,
Dibjyoti?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have to refer to the precedence, because here the precedence is important, because you will be putting it in the computers, and computers will be applying logical things. And when you put the logical codes, if you don't know about the precedence, then it is better to say write one set of code, then go for the next set, and go to the next set after. It's otherwise you have to get output. Like say for example, I have P union Q followed by say D conditional C. So what I have to do is that I have to do in it in a different thing. So what happens there is you have to have the precedence. If you don't have the precedence, what happens? You have to do what? For every step you have to get a different output. So if I know the precedence, I'll do in a different way. And if I don't know the precedence, then what I'll do? I'll do it in a layman kind of way. What is that layman kind of way? I will define X is equal to P conditional Q. Then after getting the output of X, and then I will find out what is Y equal to say C and D intersection or whatever it is, the second equation. Then I'll find out the relation between X and Y. So I can do it in a loop if I don't know also, but that will actually require more number of lines in my programming. Okay. Getting what I want to say? If you don't know also the precedence, you can do it, but it will be a more number of lines you have to add for the code. Clear? And if you know, you can directly put it in one line. Clear? So here you can put bracket also to define them, or for clarity. That is what I was discussing, that if you can do it step by step. I do read this, then I do this, and then in between the two set of brackets, I'll put a another operator in between. Okay. Clear? So if you go for a biconditional equivalence, what will be for this one? The first column. What will happen to the first column? Just the negative of what we had in the previous column, isn't it? Opposite of 1 is 0. Opposite of 0 is 1. Opposite of 0 is 1. And opposite of 1 is 0, isn't it? Getting this? This is only P biconditional Q bar, whole bar. The other one? P biconditional Q bar. Anyone tell me this one? P biconditional Q bar. The first one is Q bar is 1, P is equal to 0. So what will be the biconditional of P and Q bar? 0 and 1. 0, then 1. Anyone of you? Zero with 1, biconditional. So this will be 0, like the earlier one. And now it is the other way around, P with say Q bar. So here again 0 0, so 1. But when it is 1 1, then you will be having 1 because both are same in the last two, and the last one will be again 0 because now it is 1 and 0. So 0 1 is 0, 1 0 is 0, and in between when it is 0 0 and 1 1, that is the biconditional. So that is 1. Clear this part? Biconditional equivalence. So there is contrapositive also when for the implication of P conditional Q. So you can make it Q bar conditional P bar, that will be contrapositive. So it will be equal to the original implication. So if you want to prove it, this one. So for this one, what you have is you can apply the different predicate logics. So if I consider propositional logic that all men are mortal, all men are mortal means जो जिंदा है वो उसको मरना ही पड़ेगा. Okay. So some trees have needles. So that is another thing. Some needles, or you can say thorns, you can say, and x is greater than 3. Now these are propositions. These are all propositions. Now predicate logic is where we can express these statements and make inference out of them. So here, so if I put pxy in two parts, a predicate logic here, what you have for a relation or a property. So if xy is a set of arbitrary values, so for that there may be two truth values of the statement. So here we can assign x and y for the p truth values. Say for example, say we define a equation x equal to y plus 3. Now when I say x equal to y plus 3, so this is the equation. I don't know what is x and I don't know what is y. Now there may be two state of values. I can put q12. Q12 means x is equal to 1 and y equal to 2. So you check whether this first statement q equal for x equal to 1 and y equal to 2, is this qxy statement correct, true or false? Q12, true or false? Just put x equal to 1 and y equal to 2. Is the thing equal to being correct or not being?
True,
Any one
sir.
of you? It is correct or
True.
wrong? True or false? The first one.
True,
Q12. Huh?
True.
Q12, can Q12 be true?
False.
Why it is because see it is false because see, as Hilary said, when we put y equal to 2, 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, but x is equal to 1. Getting? So that's why it is becoming false. Or if you put x equal to 1, then y should be equal to how much? Minus 2. But that is not the condition. So if it was q1 minus 2, then it would have been correct. But as it is q equal to q12 instead of q1 minus 2, so this is false. I hope you got why this is false.
Yes, sir.
Because it is not being satisfied. The equation I have given x equal to y plus 3, it is a simple equation. So there, if I put 1 and 2 in place of x and y as per the order, then it is wrong. But in the second one, tell me.
The second one is
True.
true.
Yes, second one is true because it is, if you put x equal to 3 and y equal to 0, then it is becoming correct. So like this we can define. So you guys have played this game, rock, paper, scissors, isn't it? As kids, you have played, any one of you?
Yes, sir.
Oh. So there, this RXY means X beats Y, means what things you take, means you can take rock or you can take paper and you take scissor. You can take any three, either of the three of them. And similarly, your partner also can take any of the three of them. Now, either you will be tied or one will be above the other, isn't it? Normally it is that. So if I put this, the rules are that rock can smash a scissor, scissor can cut a paper, and paper can cover a rock, kind of thing. So first case you see is false because you have rock and paper, isn't it? Can anybody tell me why it is false, rock and paper?
Sir, because the paper will dominate the rock. So it should be papered and then rock.
Okay. And what about the next one? Scissor and paper?
Sir, it will be true.
Sir, I think true.
Yeah. Yes.
True.
I hope you have got what I'm actually see. What these rock paper scissors you play in terms of normal games. But what we can do when we want to play make anybody play it in the computer, then you have to define them in terms of equations. Okay. So that's what I'm showing you. Clear? So the first one, that is x equal to y plus 3, is a mathematical equation. So it is very easy to get that into the computer. But the other one, the rxy kind of thing, here we have to put the sentences into the system so that my system can play with us. Okay. So let's say, for example, Marconi is not having somebody to play with him. So he can write a code for this rock, paper, scissor, and the computer can play with him. Okay. Getting the idea?
Yes, sir.
So you have quantifiers also. So quantification expresses the extent where the predicate is true and you have a set of elements. So one is the universal. The symbol for universal is this one. In other books, there may be different kind of symbols. And existential is reverse E. Okay, these are the two symbols. One is the universal and one is the existential. Existential means it exists and universal means it is true everywhere. Clear? So I'm using two symbols here. So if I go for a universal quantifier, so Px is true for all values in the domain. So we have to write universal x belongs to D. Okay, there is some domain. So for every x in the domain, Px is true. So this red colored thing, where what I have put some symbols, where the first one is the universal, then is x. Then the statistics guys, I think you know the symbols. This is belongs to and D. So this means for every x in D, Px is true. So, but there may be, if there is some element which is false in this particular thing, this is called as a counter example. Means which can because there are some exceptions and counter examples everywhere. So for example, if I write Px as equation x plus 1 greater than x for a domain R, then what do you mean? Here we mean that universal x and Px. We are taking a relation of what is the value of x universally for Px. Then I have to find out if this one is true, because why? Because if I put x equal to 0, then 0 plus 1 is greater than 0. If I put x equal to negative number, say minus 1, then minus 1 plus 1 is 0, and that is obviously greater than x, which is 0. Oh, sorry, it is minus 1. And if x is equal to positive, like plus 1, then also plus 1 equal to 2, and that side it is 1. So always this is a universal statement, isn't it? X plus 1 greater than x is a universal statement. Clear? Getting how we are defining a universal statement? Isn't it? This equation is correct everywhere. X plus 1 is always greater than x. Either you have a negative term x, whether you have a positive term x, or you have x equal to 0. In all three cases, always this statement is true. Clear? Getting this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So another example. So we are going for x greater than 0. So let's go for a counter example. Here we have R. X is in the domain of R, and x is considered as a universal. So if x is equal to minus 5, then what will happen? If or any x being any negative term, then it is a counter example. So if x equal to negative, then this particular example is not true. So x negative makes it untrue. Okay. And if x is equal to positive, then I have to write x is greater than 0 provided x is positive. Clear? If I don't write provided x is positive, then this statement is not correct. Clear? There are some existential quantifiers, like say px is true for at least one value in the domain. So here this reverse E stands for existential x belongs to D for px. So there is some x in D where px is true. So let's go to this. Mx stands for x is a mammal, and ex stands for x lays eggs. Okay. So normally mammals don't lay eggs. Clear? I hope you know that. Mammals do not lay eggs. Isn't it? So we have two terms. One is mx, means x is a mammal, and another is ex, where x is the organism that lays eggs. Now, is there any animal that is existing which is the intersection of mammal and laying egg? जिसका जीके वीके अच्छा है बोलो. Which is an animal that is a mammal but lays eggs?
Crocodile.
Crocodile mammal नहीं है, reptile
That
है.
is a reptile.
Yes, crocodile is. Which one? Yes, platypus. Okay, so that is the only existential one. Here. Okay, so there is the existing one which is intersection of these two. Okay, other than that, the others are either mammals or either they lay eggs. Okay, any of them. Clear? So this is the existential quantifier. So you can convert this English to logic. Like say in this class there may be somebody who has visited Taj Mahal, isn't it? Many of you might have visited Taj Mahal. Clear? Now, domain X is the set of all persons. So if I consider all the students, say 19, 20 of you are there online presently. So if I consider all of you in total, then CX is a where X is a person in the class. So in my class, there is some person X, and VX is X has visited Taj Mahal. So CX and VX. CX is the person in the class and VX is those who have visited Taj Mahal. Okay. So if I take this existential part of this, so there are some of you, say out of 20, say 4 or 5 of you, or maybe 10 or maybe 17 of you might have visited the Taj Mahal, isn't it? So some of you have visited Taj Mahal? Any one of you?
Yes, sir.
So that's I have an existential example here. Clear? Getting the existential? How we are converting the English to logic so that I can write an AI based program?
Yes, sir.
So you can do various means for everyone there is someone to love. Okay. Then there is a domain like X and Y is a set of all the persons. Okay. Then we have a condition that LXY means X loves Y, and we take a universal set that universal X exists for Y where L loves L, that means X loves Y. So is it necessary to say explicitly include X and Y? They may not be different people also. Some one of you, because you guys, whether you love somebody or not, you love yourself, isn't it? Is there anybody who doesn't love himself or herself? So if I don't consider X and Y to be two different persons, they can be the same person. Say any of you can, even if somebody is not there, but still you can have some, means you can love at least yourself, isn't it? So just because X and Y are different variable names doesn't mean that they can't take the same values. They can take the same values. Getting? So you can do more English to logic kind of thing. Like say for example, no one in the class is wearing shorts and a cap. So if I go to, presently we are having it online. So many of you will be in their houses, and maybe many of you may be wearing shorts, but maybe nobody is wearing a cap. Anybody wearing a cap now? So if it was in a classroom, you'll find that the percentage of people wearing shorts will be less. But now as it is online, the percentage of people wearing shorts will be more and percentage of people wearing caps will be less. So that is, if I make a domain of people working in the class, so you have to find out in that. So X is wearing shorts is the SX and PX is wearing a cap. And there doesn't exist anyone who is wearing a shorts or a cap. So that's why I have given this example, because if I'm in the class, though earlier when I was say taking in Arunachal Pradesh, there may be few Bhavatosh will be aware. कोई 3/4 तो पहन के आता था ना Bhavatosh? Bhavatosh है कि नहीं? घुसा तो था. हाँ, तो कोई 3/4 पहन के आता था ना क्लास में, मिजोरम वाले. मिजोरम वाले तो पहन के आते थे ना. So there we may get here, either if I take a offline class, then there will be nobody wearing shorts, and if I take an online class, there will be nobody wearing a cap. Okay. Getting what I want to mean here? So domain of X, if I consider all person, so this X belongs to the class, and either this short and cap or only shorts or only cap. So you can have the different kind of these sentences being converted into logic, so that we can apply the later on. If once we convert them into the logic, then we can convert them to say some programs which can be applied there. So for evaluating the expressions, there may be precedence and variable bindings there. So this is from chapter 1. So you have quantifiers and negations that are evaluated before the operators. So you can, quantifiers means you will be quantifying the terms, and negation is the bar thing. Okay, you have seen the negative term. So this already I had given. This is higher than this. This is higher than this. So this I have already given. So you have the predicate logic. If you are doing some equivalent to if the truth value and what is the possible bindings and other things. So for example, if you are having this universal of X where Px intersection Qx, as well as universal of X Px intersection of universal of X Qx. Okay, so you can do both of them together, or you can do both of them separately. It will be coming as the same thing. So for example, if I qualify this with the PG of Tripura University, I said, given this PG domain of students who are doing this IT 0004E course, all students who have passed CSK2 or CSK3, statistics students have passed CSK2, MTech students have passed CSK3, or MCA students have passed CSK3, isn't it? All of you have passed either skill 2 or skill 3. And are all of you are registered under Faculty of Sciences? So hence all students who have passed the CSK course and all are all students who are registered under Faculty of Sciences. Now here in case say any one of you who was there who has done skill 1 course and not 2 or 3 course, then you guys will be having trouble following my class, isn't it? Because if you are doing skill 1 and you are not from the Faculty of Science, then you will not understand logic or Boolean or any other things. Getting? Considering that somebody is from MA Bengali or MA English. Okay, so if they have not done skill 2 or at least skill 3, then you have not done logic, isn't it? Clear what I want to mean here? So if I take separately or if I take individually, it's the same thing. Clear? So there may be other things like someone like skiing P or like swimming Q. If I take 2, so then there will be someone who likes skiing and there exists some then there will exist somebody who likes sorry, it should be swimming and skiing. Okay, I've mixed up. I've written both skiing. Anyway, so there will be somebody who will be loving both of them. There will be someone who will be liking skiing but not swimming, someone who will be liking swimming and not skiing, and there will be someone who will be liking skiing and swimming both. This kind of thing, logics. Okay, getting how we can make equivalences. So everyone likes to go to the dentist. No, sorry, not everyone likes to go to the dentist. Hence, there is someone who does not like to go to dentist. Now, if somebody is always going for a floss or a going for this say cleaning or say shining their teeth, for them it's fine. They will like to go to the dentist. But somebody who is always having chocolates and having cavities, and he will never like to go to the dentist, because he is not there to say shine his teeth. He is there to say have the dentist make holes into his cavities, or say have a RCT done, or so he will not like. So there will be somebody existing who doesn't like to go to dentist. Okay, so these are just statements which we can convert to logic. Okay, so we can write it in this way or the other way. We can put the different logics. I hope you are getting what I am meaning. Means in here I have discussed logic in the terms that we if we don't have statements which we can directly convert to programs, for those statements we have to apply logic and then convert them into programs. Okay, so that is the basic idea. For any artificial intelligence program, first you have to train it, and before training it you have to give a set of data. But that data set, if it is in English means anyone means in language, then you have to convert the language to logic and then convert them these logics to zeros and ones, and then only you will be able to train the system. Once the system is trained with the zeros and ones, then as a result it will give outputs in zeros and ones. And once it is giving outputs in zeros and ones, you can again in the output stage you can convert it back to the logical English statements. Clear? The IVR, you guys have used IVRs, isn't it? Anybody has used IVR for credit card or debit card things? Anyone of you who has used a IVR?
Yes, sir.
So in IVR, what happens? They'll say to authenticate you in phone banking or any other things, they'll say, please insert your date of birth. So what you'll do, you'll type something. Earlier, the system was, if you were using internet, you will type your date of birth and authenticate it with the OTP. Now already you have called from your official number. So there it is already authenticated that say my number 9436, that number is actually say there in my bank account. Then I'm calling it in the customer cell. So it is automatically authenticated that this phone number is calling this number and this phone number is valid with this particular account number. So automatically they'll ask, okay, what is your date of birth? Then I'll insert my date of birth in the keypad, and then it will ask, this is the date of birth you have entered. Confirm to confirm, press this number, say 1 or 2, and if not, you re-enter. Press if it is confirmed, press 1. If it is not confirmed, press 2 and re-enter the date of birth. Isn't it? You have seen that? You, those who have talked to an IVR, I think you have seen that. So that authentication is just a initial level, but after that you have a series of click this, click that, like this, and finally if you are able to reach the customer, then only you have a human interaction. Before that, it is just a logic based thing, means authentication level 1, authentication level 2, then getting your actual thing, which one. So if you are doing that in the say website or in a browser, you click it step by step. Now when you are doing it in a phone call, then you have to do it in a other way around, and it will take more time compared to you clicking a website and going ahead. But doing that again, you have a problem that while you do that using the website, you cannot directly talk to a customer service person. It may be a bot which is representing him or her. So in both cases, what happens? Once you do a phone call to reach your credit card guys, what happens? You have to do a lot of IVR handling, and then only you are able to reach the customer care. And if you are handling using the website, then you have to do a lot of things in the chat bot and other things, and then it is authenticated. Then only somebody will come into the chat to discuss with you, isn't it? You guys have experienced that, I guess. Clear? So this discrete mathematics thing, I had to give an overview because we'll be applying logic time to time. So in the next class, I'll be discussing the reasoning under the uncertainty. Means here you have basic digital kind of discrete mathematics based logic there. Next we'll be going to the reasoning part, and in that reasoning we'll apply reasoning under uncertainty. Okay, so that I'll be taking up, but tomorrow I have a program in Mizoram University, so I'll not be able to take till 11:30. So are you free in any time after 11:30, or should we do it on Wednesday?
कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं सर, शेड्यूल कर दीजिए.
नहीं 11:30 को करो, बाकी लोग का भी मुझे पूछना है. तुम लोग का तो ठीक है, तुम लोग का तो सिर्फ एक सब्जेक्ट है. 11:30 अदर्स स्टैट्स.
Sir, we have class, sir, after 11:30.
Okay, so you are from stats.
No, sir, electrical, sir. Electrical.
Okay,
background.
electrical you are having 11:30. Okay, so and what about electronics and stats?
Sir, we have also class.
Okay, then I'll do what? Tomorrow, let's leave for tomorrow. We'll say meet on Wednesday then.